Okay, well, Lucinda's already talked to you a little bit about seeing the stride with a pole on the ground, and the same thing happens, obviously, with a little jump. So we'll just have a little talk about that again, and then I've got one of my favourite exercises here, the little serpentine exercise, which checks so many things as a rider. But first of all, we just talk about, again, a little bit of the seeing the stride. I always like to count the inside front leg. And what is important is that you focus, absolutely stare at the top rail.
Which jump are you coming to?
The red one. So it's absolutely vital that you absolutely stare. You use your focus vision and you stare at the top rail. If it's an oxer or a fence with width, obviously you still look at the front rail, but the amount of canter you have. This is the canter for an upright. That's the canter for a big wide fence. So, again, just as I come around the corner, I focus on the fence, counting the inside front leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Lucinda already commented on his unique style of jumping. But again, we talked about the attitude of the horse, and this horse, when he goes into the ring, really likes to jump clear. So, again, looking, focusing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not, and to keep the training clear, what I'm trying to get with him now is a little bit more active canter. I want a little bit more bounciness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you notice he's a little bit dead off the ground. He's not the horse that explodes and uses himself. So everything I do is to try to get him to stretch down, reach into the contact, use his back, come up in the withers. Naturally, he's a horse that jumps a little hollow, and that doesn't help over the fence. So all the training is about getting him to stretch. So I use a little bend sometimes to help that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might just notice I gave him a little tap with the stick there to try and keep him a little bit active. But for me, he's got to be a little bit sharper off the ground.
That was better.
So, good boy. That's what we want. A little bit more active. It's all about those hind legs, getting the power underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Good boy. Okay. So,
do you want me to do it?
Then we start the little... Do you want to do it?
Well, I'll just go do the serpentine if you want, while you talk.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so Lucinda's going to start the little serpentine exercise. And what this does, I said it's so good for a rider to help you focus on the fence, keep your balance. When we're riding, you've got to put so many things into play. Keeping the balance underneath you, keeping the horse between the leg and hand. You've got to be looking for your stride. You've got to keep the activity in the canter. You've got to keep them underneath you. Good. And I like the way this horse just does the flying change naturally over the fence.
Yeah, nothing to do with my training.
And just as I said that, the kiss of death, she didn't get the change. But, so, once you've mastered being able to see your stride, get the horses to the base, even though these are only small fences, I would rather you add another stride and get right to the base and have the horse really have to jump up and use themselves. It's not about coming around and getting gradually faster and faster. And the things that Lucinda's doing here is as soon as she lands, she sits up. That immediately puts the horse back onto his hind legs, back on the engaging the power. And she's probably doing 100 little half halts there, 100 little adjustments.
Should we just explain, Clayton, about the half halting in the canter?
Yeah. So we talked about the half halts, and what is so important when you half halt is
we only talked about the Australian half halt.
Yeah, that's a bit different. That's in emergencies, the Australian half halt. But when you give the half halt, it's so important that you actually give the half halt in the right timing. Everyone knows as the horse canters, it's a little bit of a rocking horse feeling. So as you're riding the horse, you have the feeling that the horse's head goes forward and back, forward and back. As the horse comes back, the hind legs come underneath, and that is the only time that you can give an effective half halt to ask the horse to stay a little bit longer, take a little bit more weight on those hind legs. So if I just demonstrate that a little bit. So we canter around. The horses have a little bit of a rocking horse motion. It's absolutely vital that the hand follows the horse's mouth. And something that we are very particular about is that your elbows are supremely elasticated. I'm exaggerating a little bit here now. But your elbows are what holds the horse's mouth. Everyone talks about the hand holding the horse's mouth, but it's really your elbows. You should be able to bend the horse to the inside, keeping the contact, and he should just follow there. You should be able to bend the horse to the outside with elasticated elbows, and the horse should just bend that way. As you forward in the canter, the head goes forward and back, both hands follow. So the whole time, I've got this really nice feeling with the horse's mouth. I suppose it's just like holding someone's hand. You know, you don't squeeze the hell out of it. You don't have it like a big, wet, soppy fish. You just hold it softly and lovingly. And that's how you should hold your horse's mouth, lovingly.
All the time, honey, all the time.
So, and as I said, again, it's all about the rhythm, it's all about the balance. The horses canter, they bob forward and back. What I'm doing now is as I start to apply my half halt, when the hind legs come on the ground, it's woo, woo, give, woo, give. I'm still following, but I'm just taking a little restraining aid when the hind leg's on the ground, or when the head comes back to me, or my hand comes back. Close, close, half halt, half halt, half halt, half halt, half halt. Little bit of leg to keep him activated as well. Half halt, half halt, half halt, half halt. The important thing is not how much you say woo, but how quick you are to give. If you hold that for too long, the horse then goes beyond and starts to pull against you. And you've seen so many times when people say, I'm half holding, but I can't get the horse to listen. And then it gets into a tug of war, and it's a nightmare. And that is simply because, A, normally they're not half halting in the rhythm of canter, and B, they haven't let go. So again, just so you see that really clearly, half halt, let go, 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 in rhythm of the canter, yeah? You got that? Good.
Clayton, the other thing you could explain is the flexion bit within the half halt. Or do you want me to do that?
It got me confused.
Well,
okay, I know what you're talking. I'm only joking.
Oh, okay. Thought I was going to teach him something then.
Well, you can. Do you want it?
No, you carry on, carry on.
All right. So what Cinda's saying is that another way to soften the horse, when you have a horse that gets a little bit strong in the hand or is not completely submissive, give him a little clap. Isn't he a beautiful horse, this one? Brookley.
Are you trying to perk him up a bit?
No, I'm trying to get him a bit more energy, you know. No, but what Cinda's saying is something that really, really works. Again, we're thinking about that elasticated elbow. It's just to be able to flex the horse a little one way, and then flex him the other way, and then flex them again, back. And you can play with that. It can be, you can hold it in the flexion for a long time or whatever. As long as you're not pulling and as long as you're not jamming, as long as you're soft with the outside rein as you do it. And who knows the difference between flexion and bend? Well, there's not many hands out there. What's going on?
There's one up there, a little tiny one.
I'm going to tell you anyway. The difference between flexion and bend. Flexion is when the horse's body stays straight and you just take them in a little flexion to through the pole, yeah? So it's really the body, the neck stays straight, and you just have them a little flexion in the horse's head or the face. And when you do that, you should be able to see the eyelash in the direction that you're flexing them.
It really is very minimal, isn't it?
It is. It's not that much at all. But just in the canter, you can quite often do that. And sometimes I'll even do that coming down to a fence. The horse gets a bit keen, he wants to go, and I'll just flex them a little bit left, a little bit right, a little bit left, just to take them off pulling me to the fence. And the difference between flexion and bend is the whole horse's body from the tail all the way through.